So this is Donny! Like the character I used to play in Demo Reel, which could have been a segue in the last episode, but instead you went for Wolves.
What's Demo Reel?
Even the people who are in it didn't watch it. That's how little an impact it made. I am so happy. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Anywho, okay, so this is Donny. What the hell was he again?
Grass Ogre, I think it was.
A grass ogre? Okay.
If I remember right.
Kind of a meh design for me, but I don't know. I guess he's supposed to be sort of like just a big bully jerk, so I guess that's how they designed it. But he's in this neighborhood that's literally these little house people. They're people in their houses, and I love the design of them. I just love that idea that there's just these little houses running around. They have like people faces out of them, and they apparently have bodies inside the houses too. That was actually really kind of freaky when he takes the house off, and there's like this triangle square-shaped thing in there. I was just sort of like, ugh. But he's a jerk that nobody likes, and Finn and Jay come along. They try to make him less of a jerk, but it turns out there's these things called Y-Wolves. I forgot why they were called Y-Wolves, though. What was the reason?
Because they were just interested in stuff.
Instead, they were inquisitive wolves. Yeah. So we'll have to go back and forth between, you know, sounding like this and sounding like this. So it seemed to... That's their shtick. But now Donnie is a nice guy. Jake made him much nicer and told him that if he sings little songs with rhymes to teach people lessons, that'll work. And Finn and Jake drag him over there, and they say, you gotta be a jerk again. And so they make fun of his songs. They're really cruel to him to make him angry, to emit the obnoxygen, yep. Which is a great term. I love that term. And it works. It scares all the wolves off, but on the downside, he's a jerk again, and he hates everybody, and he hates Finn and Jake, and Finn and Jake just... Finn at least feels really bad. It's sort of this great moment where it's like, it's both really funny and really tragic when Finn is just like, you know, I'm sorry, Donnie. I think, is that what he said where he had like the little tear? It's just like, I'm sorry, Donnie.
Yeah.
And it's really funny and really sad. And they just sort of walk away, and I think even Donnie isn't sure if like a good thing or a bad thing happened.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I wasn't getting into the episode that much until that ending. I actually really like that ending. I think that's like a surprisingly heavy, tragic ending. You know, just where you see sometimes where somebody has to suffer something that feels wrong has to be done because in the long term, it's actually better, or in the big picture, it's actually better. And
didn't they say in the Bible, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few?
No. But at the same time, by him being such a jerk, it's like he hates himself and he hates everybody around him. But then he also finds he likes being a jerk, which I guess is good. At least it's good for him. At least he's happy. But everyone else is miserable. So it's this... It's an interesting balancing act. I think actually a lot of life kind of works that way. It's just like varying. I mean, with some people it's like, oh, just not taking things for granted, and others it's varying levels of misery.
Yeah.
You know, just how miserable can I be? Can I find joy in being miserable? And it's not a very optimistic, upbeat way of looking at things, but there are some people that see things like that, and I don't want to say it, but there is a part of me that sort of says that's kind of how some things and some people need to be. You know, it's like that balance has to be kept, or it's always going to go imbalance, but, you know, maybe it's not how it needs to be, it's just how it's going to be. And it sucks. Adventure time! So, yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on it. After that light little bit that I said.
Wow, yeah, well, how am I supposed to follow that up? Demo Reels was great, watch it.
Nice.
I don't know if I fully agree with the whole, that's the way that, like... I know you kind of said one thing and then you said another. that sometimes it has to be that way. I don't know if it has to be that way, but in this one, the reason why I brought up the whole needs of the many outweigh needs of... It's kind of like this. They're sacrificing Donny to save a whole bunch of other people. They realize that Donny, who is now a good guy, they're going to have to kind of make him a bad guy again just to save an entire town of people. And it's like, well, who do you save? The singular or the whole bunch? And it kind of sucks because they're in a really tight spot.
It's like that. I love that term. Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others. I feel it's kind of the case here, where it's like, look, this isn't a good situation, but it's better than every other option that's there.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there is, with a lot of shows, I think there is always the, especially like kid shows, and I see a lot in superhero stuff too, where there's this thought of, no, you can always find a way around it. There's always an answer, and I don't know if that's always true. Sometimes the answer is just going to be, you know, that there is no answer, that sometimes there is just going to be misery or suffering or whatever, you know, it's just... And you have to accept that. You know, you have to accept that sometimes that's just going to be kind of what the solution is. You know, and it doesn't feel good and it sucks, but, you know, sometimes that's just life, and it's a pain, but there's a lot of good things worth fighting for, and that's why you stay alive and do all that good stuff, but there's just going to be tough stuff too.
Well, if you look back a few episodes that you guys actually were talking about, the one where Finn actually fixed all the problems
I was just
going
gonna say,
on,
I was just thinking
now
that
you've
one.
got the complete reverse where they couldn't fix everything. So they kind of almost deal with both issues in the exact same season.
Yeah, I was saying it actually almost reminded me, and not a specific episode, but kind of reminded me of like a Batman story or like the anime series or something like that. Just when, no, I know it sounds strange, but just where you see something happen and it's just like, sometimes there are no happy endings, or you just see the tragedy, you just nod like, yep, that's life. You know, it's like a Clint Eastwood movie. You just start watching, you just go, well, shit. Like, that's it. I usually call it just well shit movies.
Yeah.
You just watch it, you see what could be this beautiful ending with a beautiful, or this beautiful movie with a beautiful ending, and instead it's just this shitty tragedy, like this Greek tragedy. You just go, well, shit.
Yeah.
But life's full of those too, and it's, you know, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to know going in. You know, I think we teach kids a lot of good stuff and a lot of optimistic stuff, and that's the way to go in, you know, but you gotta let them know, hey, that's not always happy endings. Sometimes shit's gonna happen, and, well, shit.
Yeah. You can't save everyone.
Yeah, so, deep philosophical talk there from a grass ogre who has a leaf over his junk.
But he turned that leaf around.
He did.
But then he turned it back.
Yes.
Anything else for this episode, Master?
One other thing, I like that you call me Master, keep doing that. One other thing, actually, because I almost forgot about, and I probably touched upon it, but in the opening when they come out and they were like, was it like, what, safety guard or safety...
Patrol.
The safety patrol stuff. I love how happy, and I just love how they get into everything. Even if it's like the nerdiest, most, why would anybody care about this thing in the world? It's like they just get so into it, and I don't know, in my opinion, when I see people that like get obsessed over something, I'm like, how can you get obsessed over that? I immediately sort of hit myself in the head and say, you know what? Let them. They're loving it. And I just, every time I see Finn and Jake just get so into whatever strange thing, I go, why are they into that? I suddenly say, you know, it doesn't matter why they're into it. They love it. It's not hurting anybody. It's so cool, and they think the world of it. And even if it's something as lame and silly as Safety Patrol, you know what? Good for friggin' them, because I don't know. That happiness is contagious, and I think it's a good thing to be, again, just on kids shows, just get that positive happiness just flowing and contagious in what is otherwise a very depressing episode.
Is that why you pulled me in on this whole vlog thing? Because I was so happy about Adventure Time, and I was probably obnoxious like them with Safety Patrol.
I was lost at the beginning, but now I'm found. And you showed me the way.
Oh, so now you're my bitch now, right?
I liked it better when you called me Master.
Yes, sir.
We should go to Bondage Dungeon later.